Weekly Show. Your host, Ken Folan, the voice of Windham, along with my colleague, my best buddy, that great guy from the Board of Education, Mr. Mark Doyle, the heart of Windham. How are we doing, Mark?
Hello, I'm doing fine.
That's enough out of you for tonight.
I'm doing fine.
We have with us a huge guest. I mean huge. But first, I want to point out.
Discuss my weight.
I want to point out the Windham Weekly sign, because I told my son he's up in New Hampshire. Designed by Andrew Folan. It came out beautiful. Thank you to Hall Communications.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh,
yes,
my God.
Beautiful. Well done.
The frog
well
on
done.
the left is me, and you can see how much more handsome.
And Andrew, do not call tomorrow between 11:30 and 12:30, okay? We're tired of that stuff.
Yeah. Stop interrupting. We have very big business to conduct at Dunkin' Donuts. But anyway, our guest, if you haven't recognized his voice, is the hottest working man in Windham politics, I believe.
Tom DeVivo's here?
No! Oh! It's that town council at large, Mr. Bill Sayers.
Thank you.
And we say welcome to Bill, but more importantly, we say hello to Mother Sayers at home resting. Hi, Mother Sayers.
She doesn't listen to you guys, sorry.
Yes, she does.
She doesn't.
So tonight, we have Mark, who is also the chairperson of the Finance Subcommittee of the Board of Ed, and Mr. Sayers, who is the self-proclaimed guru of the Windham town budget, will be discussing numbers tonight, kind of getting a feel and a direction, because there's a long way to go. The town council is working on still crafting the budget, but they had a framework to begin with. And then, of course, the Board of Ed has a framework from the superintendent, but as you know, that's the responsibility of these highly powerful men on the Board of Ed and Board of in the town council. So, Mark, why don't you quickly start us off? What is the initial ask of the Board of Education from Dr. Gomero and company?
Too much.
Not enough, I don't think.
Wow. Already, the town's looking to get more of my money. So the Board of Ed, we have just finished our process because, we're a little more organized, I guess.
Your budget is now done.
Our budget's not done. We voted on it last night. I hear the town's still trying to figure out.
Congratulations.
Still trying to figure theirs out. But so the initial request, as we approved last night from the superintendent's budget proposal, is a 3.97% increase from last year, which, as everybody remembers, was a 0, and the year before that was a 0. So it's the 3.9 is making it as close as we can, and we still are, we've still put ourselves in a position of having to not fill staff positions and do other type of cuts.
So let me ask you this, Mr. Doyle. So 3.97 was Dr. Gomero's budget. So the Board of Ed didn't take any action to reduce or increase, is what I'm hearing.
Correct. We looked at her. Well, that's the budget she proposed. We've looked at the budget from even a higher increase, but that was the final numbers that Dr. Gomero came in with. Mm-hmm. And as a board, as I say, for the last 2 years it's been 0. It's hard to try and get it below 3 when you look at just this regular cost, the cost of gas, the cost of electricity, the cost of oil. All those fixed expenses are going up. So yes, we've endorsed the budget that she presented. She made an excellent case. The staff. This was a bottom-up budget. The principals and the teachers meet to talk about it. The principals meet with their parent resource centers to talk about it. It comes from up to the department heads and up to superintendent's office, so the budget gets built up from below and then shaped at the superintendent's office.
So I'm going to say this early in the show. So I'm amazed that the ask is only 3.97, considering
I am as well.
The bulk of it is definitely going to be, besides the utilities, your raises, your contracted raises,
yep.
your personnel, and the health insurance, which has stayed stable this year, which is the best move you guys made. Because I hear the town is in a little kerfuddle there with what they're going to do. We'll get into that with Bill later. But at 3.97, if that can maintain what we have, that's amazing. I don't think the Board of Ed can afford, but more importantly, I don't think the students and parents should allow it to go any lower than that. And I know money's tight. I know taxpayers don't want to see an increase. But what do they want to see in their children's school, their offering, in their future? I'll leave it at that for now. We'll get into some more detail with Mark. Bill, why don't you update us as to where you started with this budget and where we are now currently? Again, it is fluid. It's still under
Oh, yes,
construction.
it's still under construction. A week ago, the town manager gave us 3 case scenarios, 3 worst case scenarios as I looked at them. And we chose scenario number 2, which comes in at about 7%. The town council started its work last night. We will be meeting again tonight and several times next week before we present the budget on March 13th. I expect that we will get our budget down somewhere within 3.5% to 4% increase. I'm not happy with that, but that's where we'll be, and we're going to do the best we can. I'd like to see it at 2%. I really would. I don't know if we're going to be able to get it there. Again, contractual stuff, salaries, outside contractors, all those rates really hurt us, especially in this economy, because they do nothing but go up. Nobody goes down. Let me assure you.
No. You just got to look at your household budget. Nothing has come down.
One of the good things that we did last night was we recognized, after sending out an RFP, which is a request for proposal, we hired Mr. Ron Lyman and his real estate firm to
Commercial realtor,
right, to go on to place some of our vacant town properties up for sale. So
do some active marketing on
yes,
those properties.
yes, we're going to
great
actively
idea,
market
Bill.
it. Thank you. I do take credit for that idea.
the hardest working man in Windham.
Who were you talking to when you took credit for that idea?
Windham Center School, the old Oak School, 47 Crescent Street, along with some of our other vacant parcels are going to be going up for sale soon, and it'll be good to get them out there, get them recognized by the potential buyers, and I think the commercial realtor was the best way to do it.
Bill, is there any way? No, you got to get. Let's say you're saying you're just about 4% currently, and I know your wish is to, or your goal, probably personal. I don't know how many members of the council share that with you or not. Not important right now because you're still working on it. To get the 2%, what other major? Those are some major cuts. Is there any chance with the call center situation, reducing it or switching the town employees to the
we are going to work with the town employees, and we are going to be switching them over to the state insurance plan. That should help us out some. The call center is an issue. If I had my druthers, I'd give it away, but we can't. It's a $1.5 million expenditure every year. We can't do that. So we need to work with the present board that's there. I had a meeting this afternoon with the town manager and the chief of staff. I have some ideas, and one of my ideas was, look, if they can add another 1 or 2 towns, we'll give them a 1-year contract. If they can add another 1 or 2 towns to the call center, which would help with about a $400,000 offset, I'd be in favor of keeping it the way it is. If at the end of the year they haven't been able to do that, well, then I'm in favor of the town taking over the call center and forming our own board of directors and going forward from there. We have to do something to control costs in the town of Windham. It hasn't been done in a long time. We also have to. I'm in favor of creating a position, a position that covers multi facets, and one would be a building manager. One that will keep track of when the last time the roof was done at Natchog School, when the last time this boiler was repaired, or when the last time the air conditionings at the Barrow School were serviced, so that we have that on record and we know that the average lifespan for these air conditioning units are 15 years. So it doesn't come as a surprise to the town that in 15 years we have to replace those. So we have to start putting money aside. I'm not in favor of bonding.
Right. Well, what you're basically saying, and I'm going to simplify it, as simple as can be.
Okay.
You drive in your car.
Yep.
if you never change the lifeblood of a car, which is the oil and filter, the life expectancy of that car is going to be cut in half. If you are now scheduling this with a facilities manager, that's what it sounds like the title would be, on one piece of it, right?
Yep.
And, the filters need to be changed, that needs to be changed on an HVAC system. You would hope through simple maintenance, as simple as an oil and filter per se,
Yep.
or tune-up of your vehicle for emissions, right? You will extend. If it's 15, you might get 20 out of it, but you've got to invest in the quarterly, annually, whatever schedule that they require.
That's exactly it.
Is the voice of Windham not on top of things?
I have to point out, Bill, that the Board of Ed, we have a facilities manager who does keep track of the items that you mentioned. I think part of the problem is the town doesn't listen to us when we tell them they're a problem. We've been talking about the boilers at Natchog for several years now. Now that we're talking about it even more because we put a request in about them, it's become something, no one told us. When we first talked about replacing the heaters on top of burrows, some of the information I got back from other members of the council was, well, the building's only 3 years old. How come we never replace them? I had to point out to them, the building's 15 years old. And those things do need to be replaced. And we're not replacing all of them, we're rotating.
Well, and that's what I'm trying to get at, Mark.
We do have a facilities director.
I'm not criticizing your work. I'm just saying that the town is responsible for these buildings.
Correct.
Let us remember that the town owns these buildings.
Right.
The town needs to have someone who is responsible for keeping track of the data and keeping track of what the financial ramifications are going to be come budget time. We need to know in advance. We've got to stop bonding in the town of Windham. $6.4 million. No, $4.6 million. I'm sorry, I got that backwards. $4.6 million of tax dollars goes to pay off bonds every year. $4.6 million.
So let's again simplify it. That's your principal and interest on your house. And that's basically what we built all these houses, the garage, the school, this, that, and everything else.
Yep.
And we're trying to, and I don't disagree with not doing any of that because it's important that we invest in ourselves so we get private investors excited.
Yep.
But now there's a loan to pay back. There's a bond to pay back. And it's simple interest in principle. It's like your mortgage. It has to be paid.
Yes.
So it's up to 4.6, and that's about what annually that you're spending. Is that the spend on the spend down?
4.6 on a $21 million budget.
Wow.
It's a lot of money.
That's a chunk. Bill, before I ask Mark some more questions, what is a mill now? What is that? 200,000, 250, 1 mill?
Oh, without the book in front of me, I can't tell you.
Okay.
I can't. I'm sorry. I can't honestly tell you.
But it's got to be in that neighborhood, $200,000 to $300,000 per mill.
At least. At one point it was $500,000, but I think
Was
you're
it
right.
$500,000 at one point?
Yeah, I don't know what it is right now. It's lower than it was.
Yeah, after the last reevaluation, I think it did come down. But
yes, I'm sorry. I'd have to have my book in front of me. My apologies.
That's okay. I'm not asking to be I'm like Susan Johnson knows these things in the top of her head.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I
you know
apologize.
Susan Johnson.
I'm no Susan Johnson.
No.
I know that.
She's
I
good.
know that.
She is.
I know
she's
that.
like she calls herself the encyclopedia. I think. I don't know.
She is.
She's proven that to me.
If I need information, she's the one to go to.
All right.
Tell you.
Calm down, people.
Hey, I'm just letting you know.
Campaign contributions to come later.
By the way, 456-1400. You got two very powerful guys in town politics here, Mr. Sayers and Mr. Doyle.
Don't forget Matt
I'm
Ruppert.
shaking having them on the show today.
Don't forget Matt Ruppert over here.
Matt Ruppert,
the Sultan of Radio, Matt Ruppert.
He's on my side, right, Matt? We're like the neutral. We're Switzerland.
He's the man.
We just want to know.
Mike is the man behind the mic.
456-1400.
No, just so I don't forget to put it out there, because my buddy Chris Beaudry'd be a little upset if I didn't. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Friday, March 6th, 7 p.m. at the Elks is the Willimantic Blues, is the Winter Blues Fest. This is how they raise money for the Third Thursday events. All right, so tomorrow night, the Winter Blues Fest, March 6th, 7 p.m. at the Willimantic Elks Lodge, 198 Pleasant Street. Great music, good time. I hope you can get there.
It's a great opportunity for community to get together and see what's going on.
It is. And, another thing, too, that the town council did last night is that they put $2,000 aside to help with America 250. This is the 250th anniversary of our country, and we'll be doing some celebrations. The 4th of July, the Windham Concert Band is going to be performing on stage. We have a award-winning jazz band coming, as well as a very, very popular man, 67% popularity rating. The governor, Ned Lamont, will be down to play the piano for us.
Now, did I hear that Ned was in town today?
Ned and the lieutenant governor were in town today,
Wow.
yes, over at Generations.
Ken, did you get your invitation?
I had a private meeting with Governor Lamont, not Ned. A little respect for the office and the title and the gentleman that he is. But yes, I spoke with the governor today. It was always a great conversation.
I want to make it
House.
clear that Ned would prefer to be Ned than governor.
Oh,
he's a very,
no.
very man of the people. Yes, and I was very fortunate to have lunch at Faux today with the lieutenant governor and get to talk about Windham and some of the issues that we're facing, primarily money.
Who picked up the tab, Bill?
The lieutenant governor did.
Oh, higher ranking, huh?
Yeah, well,
That's how it works in my company.
The last time I took her, we went to dinner. It was at Trigo,
Oh, I
and
thought
I
you went to
picked
the
up
buffet
I
down
picked
the
up
road.
the tab.
No.
No. I tried to get her to the hot dog place, but she wasn't good for that. But you know me, I hate to spend $1. But
Our governor has been great to this to the town of Windham, and we've got a great relationship with him. And
Yes, we do.
And I agree with you, Bill. He is a man of the people. He's a good guy. He's just I don't know him personally, but he's. When I see him, hear his words, listen to him, he's committed.
yes,
to
he is.
the
He
people.
is committed, and yeah.
So, hey, so you just announced the Blues Festival. Before we go on to Mark Doyle and the Board of Education, again, 456-1400, we have a show coming up at the Windham Middle School. It's the Windham Public School is going to have their second annual Arts and Music Exposition. Last year there was 1,000 people who attended it. It's a 2-night event. The first night is typically the elementary members of the chorus and their bands
Yep.
and what have
Right.
you, along with the art that's hanging in the hallways. And then the next night is the
school.
middle school and the high school.
Right.
That's about 120 kids. And I can't, I understand why, but yes, I was asked to be the MC. And we'll sponsor it by WILI. So Art better get out the paper and get some nice swag to give to these little kids if I'm going to represent, along with my colleague Mark Doyle. He'll be sitting there like a lump, but we'll take him. I don't want to break up the show. It's like Lewis and Martin. We don't
Right.
want to break up the show
They did break up.
in the end, and it's
In the
getting
end.
close around here.
It's getting close. It's getting very close.
They did break up.
So,
You
Mark,
know-
why don't you get into a little bit more, if you could, of the Board of Ed budget, like where your increases, now that you have it done. I mean, the actual percentages for raises and how minimal they were, for God's sake. I mean, our teachers are deserving of much more than that, but. But let's
You don't find that you're in conflict when you're advocating for teacher raises?
If I was a public official, I would be.
Okay,
yeah.
all right, good. Just checking.
In my tenure, I never once was involved in a contract negotiating with the teaching staff.
What about town hall staff?
Yeah, what about the town hall staff? But anyway,
I don't think the mayor has a conflict with any of them.
not my mayor, Tommy D. He's for me.
So let's point out the
let's
fact
go.
that just try and get the bare bones of the budget. The Board of Ed budget will be represented at $54 million, with obviously some other
Yeah,
little
but
change.
that's not our.
Thank you, Bill. Of that $54 million, it's $30 million is local tax dollars. So when
Only
you're
$30 million?
only $30 million, $30 million 56.
He's not a man of the people.
Only $30 million, which compares to $21 million on the town side. So when they try to make the comparison of $54 million on the Board of Ed and $21 million on the town side, that we're the big bad enemies.
Who is they? Let's be careful
Who's
here,
the town-
because I'm not comparing
Did
budgets.
you not read the town manager's report that he gave you 2 weeks ago?
Yes, I did.
That showed $54 million for the town in his bubble against your $21 million.
I did see that.
Okay.
All right.
Bill,
I
I
didn't hear you object to it.
Let me interject this for a minute, Doyle. Mr. Doyle. He likes to be called Mr. Makes him
Thank
feel
you.
good about his $30 million.
So-
but this has been going on since my first day of involvement. It's always they try to make that one big number, the Board of Ed, and then when you go campaigning to help pass the budget, you always find yourself explaining, so don't cry now, find yourself explaining that we're 50% of the total ask most of the time,
Correct.
depending. But go ahead.
Well, thank you. I was trying to explain that.
Oh, well, hey, I did it succinctly because you're not efficient in your verbiage.
Ken.
You know
So-
what? I think I'll just sit here and let the two of you go at it because,
So, of the 54 million, 30 million is local tax dollars, 24 million is the state educational cost sharing, and there is an additional 24 million that we have in other grants that we receive, Title I grants and other grants. So we do have other grants as well, but the local budget that we're talking about for the local taxpayer is a $30 million budget. Not, I don't have that in my back pocket. I know some people sitting here probably do, but so yeah, it's not insignificant. We understand, but we also understand that the high needs of our students in our district to have these. Have the special programs that we can have, and Ken and you and I have had many people on the radio now talking about the benefits of their arts and music.
I think that's one good thing that you guys do with your show, and that is support the school system and its efforts to educate and promote our students. I think it's a great thing.
Well, I think it's the most important aspect of this community because the school system, no matter what people say about it, is the hope for the future, right? Dennis O'Brien and Mark, I'm sure, and myself are strong, as I'm sure you are, Bill. Raised in communities that are very much like, New Britain for Dennis, and Willimantic for yourself, and I was at Lowell, Mass. Mark, where you were educated?
I was in Lynn, Mass.
Lynn, Mass. Same thing.
Lynn, the city of sin.
And I'm from a big city in Rhode Island.
Lynn's the city of sin?
Lynn, the city of sin. You don't come out the way you came in.
Anyway, so all these communities
okay.
were not wealthy communities, and so all my life
it's
they
interesting,
put money into the districts to help promote public education because it's the equalizer. Once you
Says
get an
the guy who
education,
drives
you
a
go
brand
forward.
new Lincoln.
And a Mercedes.
And a Mercedes.
But anyway, that's what it's all about. That's why we have these students on and these teachers on, so people have been alerted to the programs, and they're not bragging, but the progress of the district,
No.
which has been huge.
Yes, it has.
And
Yes, it has.
here's one last thing before I let you guys get going again because it's important.
Wow.
We will have another show next week with Beth Ann Brunette, Director of Equity in multicultural language, to explain that program to us again.
Good thing I
And
can read it.
the following week, we are going to have again the music department up, but this time just the educators. So there's 7 or 8 in between all the schools, and they're going to talk up their event.
Wow.
And then finally, we're going to have a show with Dr. Gamiro, the school superintendent of schools in Windham, along with the mayor at the same time. Talk about a powerful show. All I need is the gov to show, or my favorite guy, Bill Tong, to show up.
Would you please not call him Bill? His name is William.
Oh, I can't. Oh, the governor doesn't like to be called governor, but yeah, he needs to be called William.
Yes.
Okay.
That's his name.
Well, Mr. Tong. Anyway, so, what a very powerful show that is going to be, because if you say anything you want about our mayor, anything, I don't care what side of the aisle you sit on, if you have to sit in an aisle, the guy supports the Windham Public Schools from beginning to end.
Yes, he does.
And it's going to be I hope, a very powerful message from the two leaders in our community, and I am excited to have them both on that show and hear it to them to make the pleas, because after the budget's done and people vote on it and everything else, we'll get back to what we like to do best, is have students on to demonstrate the activities. We're going to probably do a round robin of the athletics up here at the high school. So there's games, spring baseball's coming up,
Nice.
all kinds of things, the tennis team. So
It's
so
a good
that'll
thing you
happen.
get some input on this, Mark.
Thank you. Yeah,
Well, he,
I'll bring it to the
Mark
board.
is,
Yes.
Mark is supposed to be my booking agent, and he kind of sleeps at the wheel sometimes. But I appreciate him. He's a good friend.
I got you booked on that music show.
You didn't get me booked. My talent got me booked. Okay, so
Your talent.
Your talent.
so anyway.
Please don't sing. We don't want any of the kids sick.
Speaking of that show with the mayor and the superintendent of schools, we may have to sit Ken outside the studio because I don't think his head will fit in this room with all these other powerful people.
No, I don't think so either.
So getting
I don't
back to
think
your
so.
original question, we talked about salaries.
I wondered when we were getting
Yeah,
there.
we're going to get back there. This year, we're looking at an increase of 1.6% for certified salaries. That's our certified staff, the teachers, the administrators.
1.6 is all the teachers there?
1.68% increase
That doesn't even touch inflation.
for our. Well, that's because we have looked at. In most cases, we're not laying staff off, but we're not filling staff positions.
Right.
We're going to be removing 8 point something. I forgot the exact number, but eight positions. And you'll hear
Are
that
those 8 filled positions or unfilled?
those are 8 positions that will not be filled.
Okay.
We're not laying them off. They're either coming to term because a program changed or a grant went down, or that position is retired, and we've made switches, so the staff numbers will go down. That's part of the reason why you see only 1.6 for certified salaries. Non-certified, which would become our aides, our paraprofessionals, the coaches, the nurses. That's going to be a 6.4% increase, primarily driven by special ed costs we're looking at a higher cost for our special ed these days.
But Mark, don't we get reimbursed for special ed most of
Yes,
it? We do.
No, not most of it. We get some reimbursement from them, and then once the special ed budget, our special ed budget hits a certain percentage, the state does come back then with what we call the special ed allotment, and we do
Right.
get it.
And we're due for an increase. It sounds like from Governor Lamont and both sides of the aisle in the legislature.
Hopefully that'll come true because
So, and I know Susan will do what she can for our
Of course you
district.
will.
'Cause
Well, we
that-
got enough. You got an extra 400,000. Well, let me not say extra.
Right.
You got an additional 400,000 last year. Is that not correct?
what they did was they reduced our budget, and then they turned around a month later and increased the number. So it looks like we had an additional 400, but they basically just put back the money they had cut out, Bill.
Oh, the smoke and mirrors trick.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But
You sound familiar with that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how we pay Matt Rupar.
There's been significant reductions, like in the communications, we reduced 26%. Outside purchase services, we reduced it by 44%. Some of those we're bringing them back in house because it's somehow, if we can work it out, it becomes less expensive to operate special programs in house than to send them out. And what other significance
We've done that over the years many a times.
Yes, when we can, yeah.
Yep.
And that ebb and flows with the population of the students and
Ebb and
flows. You like that one? Huh?
I'm going to use it.
Hang on, he's writing it down so you don't forget it.
Wow.
I got a few jokes lined up if you want to keep going.
Yeah, yeah. No, thanks. We don't need any of your jokes.
So that's the heartbeat of our reductions. Like it's going to end up with, as we said before, 3.9.
And that's a reduction of 8.5 positions. Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
It's tough.
it is tough. And how's the student population, Mark? Has it stayed level or are
Student population is down about 100.
About 100.
We were 3,100 last year. It looks like we're going to be around 3,150 last year. It looks like we're going to be right around 3,050 this year. So
But
it's
how do you know
about
that in
100.
advance of the September? All those kids that come at the last minute.
Well, that's
they move
based
into
on the
town
current count.
summer.
As of September, it could go up, it could go down. Usually in September, we get an influx of kindergarten children who we didn't anticipate because parents didn't sign them up early or whatnot, and so
They just show up.
they just show up at the door, and you have to make accommodations for them, as well as kids throughout the grades where they moved into the town or whatnot.
And I heard there was a huge celebration too. Dr. Gomero has put a program in place for attendance that has been, I have not seen one person who wasn't aware of it in the school district, including the students who've come here, because I kind of like pepper them with that question because I've seen, when you have a program that comes down from the superintendent, everyone has their opinions and how warm they're going to receive it. I have never seen a decision in my life that has been so, and I'm talking corporate-wise, so well received and implemented and executed. The numbers are way up in all the schools as far as the number of days the kids are going in and not miss school. They're celebrating things. They're giving kids, they don't realize, some of them, the importance, especially the younger ones, of public education yet and what education means. And it's not just a good time to meet your friends, but this district is having so much fun and so many awards. It's just, that they've earned nationally and statewide for the recognition.
Well-
and that's where your money's going, folks. It's to help the kids.
Look at Natchog, look at, the Barrows School, look at the improvement at the middle school. I mean, it's measurable and recognizable, and
Yeah.
that's important.
Well, that's just, we call it accountable. It's that give me goals that are accountable. What's the improvement?
Yep.
Okay, and Dr. Gamero could probably at the top of her head spit those numbers out and those programs out, and she's amazing. Speaking of accountable, how are we doing on our budget with the snowstorms all day long and all week long, and the icing middle of the night last night, and how? Are we
Well,
doing with that?
let's remember too that our major snowstorms happen when? On the weekends and holidays.
Can you change that schedule, Bill?
I've put in a request, but the snow miser has not responded as of yet.
You haven't sent the
We're-
right envelope to the right person.
Well, we're in trouble. Let me tell you, our guys are out there. They're working hard.
Yeah.
I see the criticism on Facebook, and I hear the comments, and I'm like, you know what? I would challenge anybody to get out there in the middle of the night when you can't see 10 feet in front of you and drive a 9-ton truck and move that snow around and distribute that sand and not hit something.
Right,
Not-
miss those curbings.
you know,
Just curbings.
The average person in Windham Center doesn't have curbing.
that's
so,
true.
it's only the elite up there on Frog Pond Hill that think that they're good enough to
The
have
elite
to have.
that are sweet to
I'm
me.
going to say this, because I meant to call Don Fazio at the Public Works, because honestly, as you know, in my professional life, I do travel.
Yes, you do.
A lot. And
And
Rhode
your
Island-
wife's very happy for that.
Rhode Island is an exception as far as the amount of snow they got, 37 inches, and
Whoa, a big amount
many
up
of
there,
big
yeah.
piles up there. But I also go up, up
Springfield
towards
area.
Springfield, Amherst. I'm all over the place.
Just ask me. I know your schedule, Ken.
and
Just ask me.
and honestly, our roads were in such good
Oh,
shape,
I'm telling
so
you.
fast. By Tuesday afternoon, you were driving around without fear. I mean,
no.
the mounds on the corners were difficult, but that's part two of the assignment. Part one is getting the roads open, and let me tell you, don't complain to me about these roads in the Public Works Department.
No, I'm
did a great
telling you
job.
right now, they do an amazing job. It's going to cost us some more this year. You know that. We haven't had
Yeah,
snow
it's
like
costing
this
everybody
in 10 years. But they've done a hell of a job. And I think that, we had to shock some landowners, primarily out-of-town landlords, by having the snow removed and bill them. And sorry, but if you can't clean the sidewalks around your property and protect our kids who have to walk to bus stops and everything else, then we're going to come in, we're going to clean them, and we're going to bill you. And if you don't pay it, we're going to lien you.
I was just going to
And
ask you, do you go forward a lien?
If you don't, and in order to get that lien off, it's going to cost you, I believe, another $75. dollars So you know what? Have your property cleaned. That's all I ask. And I think some of them are shocked by the bills they got because it's not cheap to have snow removed.
No, it's challenging work as well. So let's, hats off to all the guys out there on that team. A remarkable job this major storm that went through. And again, last night they were in my neighborhood, salting and sanding like crazy. And
Oh, yeah.
they'll be out
Yep.
tomorrow morning. And hats off also to Dr. Gamero for having almost like vision of what was going to happen yesterday afternoon with the ride home. Thank God you gave those folks a half day because it was treacherous. I mean, I know individuals personally, who very good drivers, very good cars, who going sideways just trying to get into the Windham. So it was a good call on her part.
I think was it Tuesday in that storm. I had to drive to Glastonbury and back, and that was not good, and it was not good. But we got into Willimantic and Windham, and our guys were already out. So it makes a difference.
It does, but that
It makes a difference.
I tip my hat to her. Tomorrow morning is going to be another exercise of the temperature versus is it going to be ice? Is it going to be rain out here? But she certainly looks at safety first for her students and her staff, and I thank Dr. Gamero for that because it was a couple hours later it was okay to drive, but it was I was in West Hartford yesterday morning, and there were accidents from one end of the highway to the other end. It was rough.
Yep.
Mark, let's go to Bill for anything deeper on your budget, Bill, that you want to mention, or anything special going
Well,
on?
you know, we're still in it. We got another 5 sessions, I think, you know, to make our decisions on the budget, and it's going to be a difficult year. I you know, I feel bad that you know we have to make cuts, but the town of Windham, you know, the average salary, you know, in Willimantic, I think I got that today, was around $55,000. You know, folks can't pay. We have to do what we can to assist our fellow citizens. You know, we have some new buildings going up, but those don't help us this year.
No.
You know, those are a year or two away before they go on the budget, even though 804 Main Street will definitely be done this year. And, you know, he's working away, and of course he's working on the old bank building.
Which is looking pretty nice lately.
Isn't it looking good? He's got 30 guys in there working, and you know, he's saying that, you know, he anticipates August or September. So we shall see. You know, but those 2 buildings aren't going to save us. We need to find cuts.
No,
we need to give the taxpayer relief.
In my
Do I
conversation,
like that? No.
In my conversations with Mayor DeVivo, he is very well aware of the fact that what we need to do is grow the grand list. We can't just cut our way out of this budget, and we can't increase taxes, you know, out of the situation. We've got to grow. We've got to absolutely grow. There's plenty of space for growth. Or improvement, where, you know, it needs to happen for this community to get itself out of the trouble that we seem to be in.
We need to keep promoting growth.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we have those who, you know, aren't too happy with the fact that we're having growth. You know, Stone Row, that building was sold. The building next to it was sold with it. That building is in bad shape, and in order for the new developer to come in and put up the boutique hotel that he wants to put in there and everything, that building has to come down. Well, we've had some Windham residents who filed with CHIPA, the Connecticut Historic Group, and now that building's on hold until they can explain why that needs to be done. You know, and why it can't be reused. Those are the things that hurt us. Those are the things that hurt us. We have the same thing with the hotel hooker. You know, whoever comes in and does that, eventually he's got to use the same facade that's there.
If it's still there.
Well, if it doesn't fall in on itself, yes.
Yeah.
You know, did I say the hooker? No, I meant the hail.
The hail.
The hail.
Right.
The hooker we have to take down eventually it might just come down on its own. You know, and you know, these are things that hold us up. These are things that make it difficult. If you want to play historic savior out there in Windham Center, you go right ahead. Go right ahead. If you really believe that there's a building on Main Street that's worth saving, talk to people first. You know, just don't go to Hartford and file concerns. You know, things, you know, we need to move forward. We need to move this town forward. I'm happy that there's folks in town who have enough money to pay their taxes. There's also a lot that don't. And we need to help them. There's the woman who's been living in her house for 50-something years, you know, and whose husband passed away, and now she's on a,
Fixed income.
Fixed incomes. Thank you, Mark. You know, she can't afford the taxes in this town, or vice versa. He can't afford the taxes in this town if he's alone. You know, I have to look at my own mother, you know, who, you know, we're very, very fortunate that she has what she has. You know, she can afford to stay in her own home. And, you know, my sisters and brother and I, we help her in every way we can. But not all elderly people are that lucky. And we have to be able to help our fellow citizen. And if we can reduce taxes or hold the line on taxes and help our fellow citizen, then we have to do that.
That's correct. Bill, it's always great having you on the show. You're full of knowledge of everything. You have
full of
empathy.
it, yes.
Yeah, I'm full of it. Thank you.
You're full of it. You're full of empathy for people, and I appreciate the hard work you and your fellow council men and women are doing.
Well, I appreciate
to get
everything
that
you guys
going.
do. And I just want to say one thing. Monday, 4 o'clock on the air with Bill Sayers, we have former Secretary of the State, Denise Merrill, along with Kay, the director of the Windham Community Band, and we'd love to have you tune in and listen to us.
Okay, I also want to thank Mark Doyle and all his colleagues, Lanai, the chair of the Board of Ed, and Dr. Gomero for putting such a tight budget together. I mean, it seems like a lot, but quite frankly, I thought it was going to be more. It's a tight budget. There are some staffs that are going to take a hit. We can't afford to take too many hits with that district because we're making improvement. And just like the buildings that, Bill's referring to, we can't put any bricks in front of the progress we're making there, and I appreciate that.
My final comment, if you will.
Thank God.
Support the Board of Ed budget because as Ken had pointed out, it's vitally needed. But the other thing, Bill, is I'm wondering if and when we'll ever get to the point where our finance director and our staff, let's look creatively at the rainy day fund that we have, and we talked about the bonding issue. Maybe it's time to look at refinancing some of those bonds. I know we did that a couple of years back.
It's being looked at right now. It's being looked at right now.
Mark Doyle doesn't watch the meetings like I do. I knew that answer. But anyway. Hey, listen, thank you for tuning in to Windham Weekly with your host, Ken Fullen, the voice of Windham, and Mark Doyle, the heart of Windham. Don't forget, next week at this time at 4 o'clock, we will have the Director of Equity and Multilingual Education. The following week, we will have a huge encore presentation from the educators in the music department at Windham Public Schools. And the week after that, Mayor DeVivo and Dr. Gomero. And we'll really get into some heavy conversations.
All right.